Thanks for joining us on the news this hour. The death of Pope Francis has ushered in a period of mourning at the Vatican and triggered the start of a centuries-old tradition, the selection of a new pope. Now, cardinals must set dates for his funeral and the start of the papal conclave. But tradition guides much of the process. A 9-day mourning period known as the Novandales has already begun. The Pope must be buried between the 4th and 6th day, and his body will lie in state at the St. Peter's Basilica, drawing mourners from around the world. A grand funeral mass will follow, attended by global dignitaries and likely mirrored by tributes in his native Buenos Aires. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote for a new pope. They must travel to the Vatican, where they'll write the name of their chosen candidate. Votes are placed one by one into a chalice. A 2/3 majority is required to elect the next pope. 4 votes per day can be cast until one man receives the call, and white smoke signals a new leader for the Catholic Church. The Vatican earlier today announced the death of Pope Francis at the age of 88. Pope Francis became the first Latin American pontiff in 2013 and was one of the oldest popes in the Church's history. He was often referred to as a voice for the poor who overcame fierce resistance to reshape the Catholic Church. Kevin Farrell, the Vatican Camerlengo, who announced his death, said, quote, "He taught us to live the values of the gospel with fidelity, courage, and universal love, especially in favor of the poorest and most marginalized," end quote. And Pope Francis' last public appearance was for an Easter Sunday blessing at the Vatican St. Peter's Square yesterday in front of delighted crowds after a brief meeting with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has joined world leaders to mourn the death of Pope Francis. He described him as an instrument of peace who deeply embodied the message of Christ, love for God and love for humanity. The president says in a time of division, he built bridges between faiths and the rich as well as the poor. He wants everyone to celebrate his legacy and honor him with action by lifting those who are down, healing communities, and defending the dignity of every person. And former governor of Abia State and senator representing Abia North, Orji Uzor Kalu, has mourned the passing of Pope Francis. In a statement signed by him, he described Pope Francis as a beacon of hope, peace, and humility, whose papacy touched billions of lives across the globe. He emphasized that Pope's messages of unity and selfless service resonated deeply with both the faithful and those outside the Catholic Church. The lawmaker recalled the Pope's commitment to justice, inclusion, and service to humanity.